The council chamber was soaked in ego and delusion. Every species present had carved its dominion in blood, forged its legacy in stars. They sat in thrones shaped like history books, sipping artificial atmospheres as if the galaxy owed them reverence. Ambassador. Real of the Threxian dominion twirled his mercury glass with 2 fingers, eyes bored, voice sharp. Dead sector. Debris. Another ghost ping. We're wasting time. Could be a ship, said Watcher Urin, younger, less corrupted by decades of false superiority. His voice barely rose, but the sentence cracked the chamber's rhythm. It changed trajectory. That doesn't happen with junk. Several delegates exchanged glances. The projection was already flickering in the air-faint heat signature. Low resonance echo, no known registry. A rock can change direction, Rahl muttered. Gravitational drift. It slowed down, Urin said, deliberately. 1 beat passed. 2. Then the high chair tapped the console. The room dimmed. Projection enhanced. It was there at the far edge of the viewing. Arca silhouette so pitch black it seemed to suck light from the stars. Triangular. No running lights. No ID beacons. No exhaust trails. And yet, moving. With purpose. Stealth class? Someone whispered. No, said Urin. Predator class. Rahl smirked. We would know if someone in the galaxy had built this. We monitor all shipyards, all military outputs. That is either an error or a hoax. No one replied, because the ship paused, not in orbit, not for drift. It just stopped. Mid-space. Like it was watching. And then it turned. The long spine of the vessel shifted slightly, pointing toward one of the ancient Imperial listening stations, Station Vordenine. It had been offline for decades. No weapons, no shields. Just old iron floating. Signal from Vordenine, said the AI assistant, voice too calm. Unscheduled ignition detected. Visuals incoming. The council watched in silence. A pulse, invisible to most sensors, rippled. Outward from the human ship, Vordenine collapsed. Not exploded. Not fired upon. Collapsed. Its structure folded in on itself, layer by layer, as if the atoms forgot how to hold form. The pieces spun out like paper confetti into the void. No flash. No noise. No elegance. Just erasure. Real stood up, voice strained. What did we just see? A demonstration, Urin said quietly. Silence lingered longer this time. Even the Threxian ambassador didn't interrupt. One of the older delegates, Vuran of the Zal, tilted her long silver head. There are no records of this class of weapon. Because it's not a weapon, said Urin. It's a message. He replayed the pulse. Slower. The ship hadn't locked on with targeting arrays. No warming cycles. No energy signatures. At all. Just a whisper of motion, and then devastation. Then another pulse came, this one through encrypted frequency. An audio band unannounced, not meant to destroy. Meant to be heard. A voice, male, calm. Observation logged. Response unnecessary. Rahl's. Throat dried. That's English. A Valeri delegate narrowed her eyes. That's human standard. Pre-fall dialect. From Earth. Earth, Rahl muttered, blinking. That system was sterilized 3,000 cycles ago. No confirmed visuals, Urin replied. No survivors found true. But sterilized? We assumed. They had. No interstellar fleet. They had no fleet we knew about. Another delegate leaned forward. Are we saying the humans survived? No one answered. The idea alone felt blasphemous. Then another delegate, Zur of the Krell Empire, hissed. We conquered their species. We allowed some colonies to remain under vassal treaties. They vanished, faded into silence. Urin stared at the projection. Maybe they didn't vanish, he said. Maybe they waited. Avid spike. The ship changed direction again. It was heading toward Council territory now slowly, with precision. It didn't cloak. It didn't hide. It wanted them to see. Another message arrived. Visual only. A diagram. Not of the Council. Not of any galactic sector. It was Earth, labeled inhuman. Script. And surrounding Earth, red rings. Expanding, decade by decade. Growth map, Urin whispered. They've been expanding outward. Quietly. Deep space folds, avoiding known traffic lanes. The realization hit the room like a silent explosion. It wasn't their first encounter. This was their first reveal. Someone finally broke the tension. Why show themselves now? And from the transmission queue came the answer. A simple image. One of the Council's mining fleets. Orbiting a dead moon. Stripping it. Except that moon wasn't dead. The system was marked with an ancient human distress beacon. They'd mined over it. Without checking, they sent a message, said Urin, because we dug up something sacred. Signature line. They thought it was mercy. It wasn't. The human ship stopped again, hovering above. The galactic plane. And then it deployed something. Not a drone. Not a weapon. A satellite. Just a small black cube spinning gently, broadcasting one repeating sentence in over 9,000 galactic dialects. We remember. Rail turned away from the projection. His voice for the first time was uncertain. What do we do now? Urin didn't move. His voice was quiet but iron solid. We wait. For what? For Earth to respond. And that was before Earth even responded. The deck of the warship Nameless Echo hummed with a kind of silence that made gods nervous. Commander. Alara Rain stood at the edge of the command platform, boots magnetized to the hull, visor dimmed against the glare of nearby stars. No one else was outside. No one else could breathe vacuum and think clearly at the same time. Her heart didn't pound. It pulsed like a drumbeat from another era. The cube had been deployed. They would hear it. They would. Remember, inside the command deck, her crew worked like ghosts. No chatter, no music, just discipline. They had trained for this day across 3 generations, descendants of Earth's final defenders. Children born in secret orbitals, raised in black space, fed history 1 page at a time. Cube deployment. Confirmed. All dialects transmitting, said Lieutenant Kaz, his voice too calm to be called human. Any responses yet? Council frequency chatter increasing. They're panicking. No fleet mobilizations yet. Still trying to understand. She nodded. They would try, and they would fail, because this wasn't diplomacy. This was resurrection. A VD spike. Kaz turned again. Brow furrowing. Commander. We've just intercepted a long-range scan from Council flagship Veritas Lux. They're trying to find our registry. They're confused. We have no registry, she said. That's what's confusing them. Ilara stepped off the magnetic strip and floated gently into the main deck. Her shadow passed over the central table a star. Map thousands of years out of date, intentionally so. Every red dot was a human installation. Every blue dot, a Council world. The red was spreading. We're not here to be identified, she said softly. We're here to be remembered. Her first officer, Juno Vex, stood at attention beside her. Taller than most, skin darkened from years under artificial UV, eyes that had never seen Earth, but burned with its memory. Operation Duskfire is ready on signal, Juno said. No resistance expected. Their outer systems are barely even monitored anymore. They're blind. They got lazy, Alara muttered. They got arrogant. Signature line. They archived us like fossils, but fossils don't launch fleets. Her Fingers brushed the side of the command table. It recognized her DNA and projected a figure, an old one, a soldier's face. Scarred, male, quiet, a man who'd led the last charge from Earth's surface before it fell to silence. Her grandfather. Tell me the last line of his last broadcast, she said. Kaz didn't hesitate. If we fall forward. Into time. Let them find us dangerous. The lights dimmed across the warship. Systems rerouted. Long-range comms shut down. The ship began to sink back into fold prep status. It would vanish in 90 seconds unless someone fired first. Anything. From Earth? Alara asked. Kaz hesitated. Then, yes, one line. She turned. Kaz read it aloud slowly. Proceed. Phase 2 authorized. She exhaled. Not relief. Not joy. Just confirmation. The sleeping planet had stirred. And now the galaxy would bleed. A VD spike, somewhere light years away. The Council was still trying to find the name of her ship, still searching archives, still assuming this was an accident, or a rogue AI, or gods help them a bluff. They didn't know humans anymore. They didn't know what kind of silence birthed this. Ilara watched the map again. 4 Council worlds aligned in the same orbit pattern: Arcos, Delverin, Six, and Reltar. Not military targets. Cultural capitals. Places that had erased Earth from textbooks. Juno, she said, select 2 of the 4. Targets? No. Warnings. Understood. Juno entered the coordinates. The ship shivered slightly as its internal drive prepared. Fold systems didn't make noise, but you felt them. Like time cracking at the edges of your teeth. Kaz's voice returned. Council is issuing emergency recall orders to their outer systems. But? They're not recalling war fleets. Ilara almost smiled. They don't think this is a war. They think this is theater. No, she said. They think we're pretending. Because they would. Juno's console flashed. Fold path locked. We can be at Arcos in 3 pulses. Not yet. A pause. Kaz turned. Commander? Let them speak first. Let them summon their arrogance one last time. Why? She looked out at the stars, and her voice came quieter than before. Because fear tastes sweeter when it rots slow. The moment stretched. Time folded into breath. Every crew member on the nameless Echo had trained for this single rhythm. To become the instrument, not just the player. Kaz flinched. Message coming in? Ilara raised her brow. From the Council? No, from someone else. Who? It's untagged. No known origin. A moment later, the message played. A woman's voice. Human. Low. Rough. Familiar. Echo, you are not alone. We have moved. The other fleets await the scream. Galera's eyes burned. She hadn't heard that voice since she was a child. Her mother. Alive. Which meant Earth's silence. Hadn't been sleep. It had been strategy. She stood slowly, back straight, shoulders squared. Take us to Arcos. Juno's hand hovered over the ignition. Kaz whispered, You sure they're ready for this? Ilara didn't blink. They weren't ready the first time. The drive roared to life, soundless and vacuum, but thunderous and intent. And as the nameless Echo vanished into fold space, the message cube continued spinning, broadcasting its silent dirge across the galaxy. We remember. And this time, the stars did too. The first scream came from a RKOS. Not overcomes. Not from civilians. From sensors. A spike in fold space, then nothing. No enemy registry, no approach. Just sudden atmospheric distortion, as if space itself had inhaled. And then the city of Velrin, capital of Arcos, went dark. No explosions, no fire, just lights. Off. In the Council's High Command war room, dozens of species stared at a silent screen as live feeds from the Arcos orbital array blinked out one by one. A dry-mouthed technician muttered, "We've lost visual." Ambassador Raul hissed, "Military attack?" "No debris, no detonation signatures. It's not kinetic. It's like the core reactors just forgot how to be hot." "Forgot?" "Sir, we're detecting gravitational anomalies inside the city grid." "Not outside. Inside, as if the city folded inward." "Ships don't fold into cities. That would kill both." Another screen turned to static. Long pause followed. Then came the voice.human.again.com. Unhurried. Female. "This is not conquest. This is remembrance." In the depths of fold space, the nameless echo coasted just beyond known detection bands. Inside, Commander Alara Rain stared down the translucent blue projection of Arcos. Population, 87 million. Status, stunned. Not dead. Not yet. Juno Vex looked over her shoulder. "They're scrambling now, activating planetary defenses. We didn't hit anything vital." "Good," Alara said. "They need to see before they burn." Kaz chimed in from the lower console. "We're now tracking 8 military fleets scrambling from Council hubs. Still no war declarations." Ilara's face barely twitched. "They're still trying to avoid saying the word war." Juno chuckled under her breath. "Let them. We never declared one either. Signature line, we didn't start this war. We just never forgot it happened." Aft spike. A new transmission lit up across the galaxy. Not from Alara, not from Earth. A mass burst of signals, 12 separate ships, 12 locations, one voice. Phase 2 complete. Phase 3 initiated. On Council World 6, the seas boiled for 13 seconds. No ship seen. No weapons fired. The oceans rose, then flattened into stillness. On Delverin, statues older than time cracked in the exact same pattern across the forehead. Deep, smooth, deliberate. On Reltar, all Kungs with off-world traffic were jammed, but the planetary music archive, stored in 8 redundant vaults, was overwritten by a single human recording. A child's voice singing an old Earth lullaby. They laughed. Then they stopped. The panic inside the council was no longer strategic. It was primal. Delegates barked over each other in 25 dialects. Threat levels escalated by the second. None of it mattered, because Alara Rain wasn't waiting for them to respond anymore. Kaz turned. "Commander, long-range pickup. We're not alone." "How many?" He hesitated. 13 human warships just folded into observable space. Different designs, all unknown classes. None match our registry. Or each other's. Ilara's heart thumped once, then she smiled. "They came." Juno's voice cracked for the first time. "It's the old fleets. Legacy builds. The ones Earth sent out before the collapse. Guess they didn't all die in silence." Kaz raised his brow. "One of the ships just hailed us. Play it." A grizzled voice filtered through. Male, worn like iron dragged across gravel. Echo. "This is Cradle's Mercy. Standing by." "Orders?" She swallowed hard. That ship name hadn't been spoken in generations. Not since the orbital last stand above Jupiter's dead moon. When Cradle's Mercy rammed 2 enemy dreadnoughts in silence, Alara nodded. "Welcome back." "Been waiting a long time, Commander." Kaz whispered. "He called you Commander." "You. She's not just commanding this ship," Juno said. "She's the designated Axis, Earth's last war promise." They waited for her bloodline. Alara stared out the viewport. Her reflection didn't blink. "I was born for this." The council broadcast erupted again. High Chair Droz himself appeared, face twisted with confusion, rage, fear, none of it helping. "To the unidentified human vessels, stand down. You are violating council jurisdiction. You are operating with weapons classed illegal by Accord 12. We demand your immediate identification." Alara didn't respond, but she did broadcast to everyone. Her voice echoed through every comm, every feed, every panel tuned to diplomatic frequencies. You archived us. You buried our name. You told the galaxy we were broken. But broken things can still cut. And then the final line, the one the galaxy would remember long after the flames. We are not here to negotiate. We are here to correct the record. Avid Spike. One of the legacy ships forged silence descended into the atmosphere of 6. Not to destroy it. To broadcast old Earth footage. Cities turned to glass. Children running from fire. Councils laughing at their victory. The war crimes unfiltered, untranslated. The aliens watched. And the shame began. One delegate whispered, "What have we done?" Another, "They waited." All this time, in the dark, they waited. The high chair slammed the come-off. Prepare full fleet deployment. Code designation. Final sweep. Too late. The human ships were already repositioning. Kaz looked at Alara. What now? Her answer came cold. Now we make them remember what forgetting costs. The first thing they felt wasn't fire. It was cold. Across the core systems of the Galactic Council, lights dimmed not from attack but from anticipation. Like the universe itself held its breath. Every delegate, every admiral, every technician on every council world watched the same transmission flicker alive. It wasn't from Nameless. Echo. It wasn't from Cradle's Mercy or Forged Silence. It was from Earth. Or what was once called Earth. A dark sphere turned in silence across the feed. Not blue. Not green. It shimmered with artificial rings, orbital layers that pulsed with red veins of weaponized light. Not a homeworld. A hive. No organic message. No anthem. Just a pulse. A simple sentence scrawled across all diplomatic frequencies. Silence was not surrender. AVD Spike. The Council scrambled fleets faster than ever recorded in their history. Dreadnoughts launched without full crews. Commanders barked orders with hands that trembled. They still hadn't seen a single shot fired. Not one. And yet 3 Council worlds were already in chaos. Not destroyed, just off balance. That was the terrifying part. The humans hadn't come to conquer. They'd come to unmake belief. In the command chamber of Nameless Echo, Alara Rain stood with arms crossed, staring at a full tactical map. All 12 legacy ships had formed a silent arc across Council space. They weren't communicating. They didn't need to. Waiting, said Kaz. Every ship, every system. They're waiting for Earth to authorize the final strike. Alara didn't respond right away. Her hand traced the edge of the console just once. Juno Vex stepped forward. We could hit their fleet yards, cripple their production, make the pain permanent. No, Alara said. Kaz blinked. No? We don't erase civilizations. That was their method. Then what do we do? Alara's eyes burned like they were lit from inside. We erased their certainty. Signature line. They feared our weapons. They forgot our minds. In deep space over the shadowed world of Delverin, a human warship began broadcasting a library. Ancient Earth history. Their own copies. Rewritten. They hadn't just survived. They had documented everything. Every experiment, every betrayal, every forgotten alliance, and every backstab, delivered under the false name of peace. The Council had told its people that humans burned themselves out, that they couldn't evolve, that their violence consumed them, but now that lie played side by side with truth. Council soldiers stared at screens in horror as human children recited the stories of the dead, word for word. And every time a planet tried to block the signal, the human fleets moved not to destroy, but to broadcast louder. They weren't killing. They were educating. A VD Spike. The high chair's voice cut across all channels. this time raw with desperation. If you want war, come for it. If you want justice, negotiate. We will offer reparations, peace accords, full planetary autonomy. Ilara keyed in her reply. Simple, personal. You were offered peace. It came in silence. You answered with fire, with extinction, with laughter, a pause. Then, and now, you offer mercy. Because you fear what we became. Kaz looked up from the display. The Council just authorized use of Echelon class exterminators. Juno sucked in air. Those are designed for rogue moons, full planetary cracking arrays. They'll aim at Earth, Kaz said. They think it'll end everything. They haven't seen Earth in 3,000 years. Ilara replied. Juno stared. What does that mean? It means. She tapped the panel. The Earth feed flickered. Focus. Zoom. And for the first time, the galaxy saw what had been hidden. Earth was gone. Not destroyed. Transformed. No longer a cradle, a weapon. Layer after layer of rotating shields, planetary cores. Swapped for forged reactors, oceans converted into plasma rivers. The clouds were gone. The trees were metal. The mountains reshaped into defense towers. It had become a sentient machine. Planet-sized war platform. A shell with one message. Never again. Avt Spike. When the Council's exterminator fleet arrived, they didn't fire. They froze. The Earth defense network activated before the Council ships even passed Saturn's ruins. 3 exterminator-class ships. 67 smaller escorts. All locked in quantum. All disarmed in 6 seconds. No explosions. Just pulse. One moment, weapons live. Next? The ships were blind. Then came the message from Earth's planetary AI, spoken in a synthetic echo of a long-dead human general. If you came here for answers, you're late. If you came here to kill, you missed your chance. If you came here for mercy. Pause. Ask the stars you scorched for it. One of the Council ships, out of panic, out of pride, out of sheer stupidity, fired a pulse beam directly at Earth's surface. It didn't land. It didn't even travel. The beam unraveled before it reached orbit, broken down into subparticles. By a defense grid so advanced it didn't defend. It redefined physics. Kaz turned to Ilara, stunned. We haven't even moved, and they've already lost. Ilara finally sat down in the command chair. Her voice, for the first time, was quiet. Not from doubt, but from victory that had always been a promise, not a plan. It's not over, she said. Juno frowned. What else is left? They still believe this is revenge, Kaz asked. And it's not? No, Ilara said. Revenge would be easy. This is a lesson. Juno lowered her head. Then what do we do now? The stars beyond the viewport pulsed. Legacy ships began to power down their weapons, folding out, leaving, disappearing. Again. Not to hide, but to return to sleep. There. Purpose fulfilled. Their memory delivered. Earth's final message, pulsing across every channel and every tongue, sealed the lesson with a line so simple, so haunting. Even war forgot how to breathe. We will not conquer you. We will let you live, and we will let you remember. AVD Spike. On the Council worlds, protests began, small at first. Then waves. The old lies were falling. The rewritten history cracking. Children demanded to know what really happened. Soldiers refused to fire on civilian ships. The stars, once arrogant, began to dim not from force, but from shame. In the black void, nameless echo turned toward the edge of the galaxy. Kaz said, Orders, Commander? Ilara looked one last time at the map. The red had stopped spreading. It didn't need to anymore. She rose, slow and steady. And smiled. We go home, Juno asked. Earth? Ilara shook her head. No. And then, for the first time in 3 Thousand years the coordinates lit up not Earth new Terra built in silence. Hidden in void the true cradle of the fleet, humanity's final truth, and as the ship folded into nothing, the stars whispered the refrain that would echo across history. Forever. They left then they stopped, and that was before Earth even responded.